Another award goes to the amazing Donald Glover. The question is, what award is it? An Oscar, perhaps? Maybe a Grammy? Donald Glover is a man of many talents. In fact, so many talents is there anything this man can't do? He's had careers in acting, stand-up comedy, writing, producing, directing, rapping, singing, songwriting, and even DJing. I've been a fan of his ever since I was 14, and back then, I really only knew him by the name Childish Gambino. I have watched him expand his career and do just about everything he possibly can in Hollywood while doing that. As we progress in this speech, you will be fully informed and educated on Mr. Glover's life and his variety of talents that has turned into careers. To start with, Glover never necessarily pursued just one of his talents as his main career. Instead, he decided to go after everything he enjoyed and or felt he excelled in. It all started when he was in high school and started making music and DJing as mostly a hobby at first. He then went to New York University in 2006 and began his first year. He already managed to land himself a huge role for the NBC hit show 30 Rock. In 2008, himself and several other writers were all awarded with the Writers Guild of America Award, which is a huge honor, especially considering the fact that this was his first writing job and it was only his second year in the industry. He also occasionally appeared in the show 30 Rock, and that was really where his acting career blasted off. Also, in the year 2008, Gambino started pursuing his musical career more and more and came up with his name for himself. He did this by simply writing his full name, Donald Glover, into a Wu-Tang name generator, and then it came up with Childish Gambino. Childish Gambino released his first mixtape called Sick Boy in 2009. Glover was also hired for a full-time acting role, starring as Troy on the NBC hit show The Community. So by 2009, Glover had already secured a job both writing, acting, while working on his music and comedy on the side. To move along with, the middle of Donald Glover's career was very eventful. In early 2010, Glover decided to take comedy a little more serious and landed a stand-up role on Comedy Central that features some of the best upcoming performers called Comedy Central Presents. After this event and a few other stand-up comedy shows, Glover started gaining more recognition for his comedy and in particular stand-up work. Later that same year, Glover was awarded an award called the Rising Comedy Star Award at the Just for Laughs Music Awards ceremony, which is presented to top voted upcoming comedian in the world. In that same year of 2010, a fan suggested Donald Glover should be the next Spider-Man, and the hashtag Donald for Spider-Man went viral and was even supported by the Spider-Man creator himself, Stan Lee. Although Glover ended up not auditioning for the role of Spider-Man, he did end up voicing that character in an animated version of the show later on in his career called The Ultimate Spider-Man. In 2011, Glover focused mostly on his musical career, starting in March when Glover released his first EP that was not named. That really blasted off Glover's music career, especially when the song Freaks and Geeks on the EP started gaining lots of attention, and then shortly after that, he released his first music video for that song. Glover continued to gain notable attention for his music, comedy, acting, and writing, and was even elected to host the MTV Woody Awards that same year. Shortly after this, Glover went on his first tour, but of course, Glover was not content with just performing his music. During the tour, Glover performed not only his music, but his stand-up comedy section and also video segments, which was never done before at such a professional level. Later in 2011, Glover released his first studio album called Camp, and it ended up going number 11 on the Billboard 200 list. But it wasn't until 2013 that Glover started to do directing on top of everything else he does. In 2013, Glover signed a deal with FX to produce, direct, write, and star in a music-based TV show called Atlanta. Atlanta was about a rapper coming up in a tough part of Atlanta and what he had to go through. It was said that many big-name networks were interested in premiering the show, but FX was ultimately the one Mr. Glover picked strictly because they were willing to work around his tour schedule. In that same year, Glover also featured in a handful of movies, the most notable one being The To-Do List. In 2013, Glover's musical career continued in a successful path. He released his album Because of the Internet, which gained global attention and found a spot at number 7 on the Billboard. To promote the album, Glover also wrote a 72-page screenplay, which is designed to match up with the album. Glover went gold for the first time ever shortly after his album release in 2014 with the single from the album, 3005. And shortly after his album, Because of the Internet also went gold. Because of the Internet also was nominated for a Grammy along with 3005. Unfortunately, Gambino did not win a Grammy this go around, but still marks the first nomination he receives. In October, Glover released his album, Kauai, which was a joint project, meaning that they all follow a plot/storyline that correlate, like a TV episode just with his albums. While working on these two albums, Glover also featured in some big name films such as The Lazarus Effect, The Martian, and Creed. While his hit show Atlanta was also finally released to the public on FX. In addition, in 2018, Glover's following and popularity continued to rise as he starred in big films such as The Spider-Man Homecoming, Star Wars, and then in 2019, he even voiced the famous Simba in the new Lion King sequel. In 2019, Gambino also wrote, starred, and created a short film with Amazon called Guava Island, which the famous artist and Rihanna co-starred in. That year, he also released a single that would turn out to be a hit called Redbone. This was his first song to ever go number 1 on the Billboard 200 and across multiple streaming platforms. In May 2018, Glover also released a song called This Is America, which was his first song to ever go number 1 on the Billboard 100 list and stayed at number 1 every streaming platform. The song won 4 Grammys for Record of the Year, Song of the Year, Best Rap Song, and Best Music Video. Currently, Glover is still working on a new season of his show Atlanta and various new independent projects on the side per usual. His music, however, has transformed over from rap to more of an indie rock style. In recent years, he has continued to work on music under the genre and has had great success following his last album. All in all, Donald Glover has had a versatile career, pursuing careers in acting, stand-up comedy, writing, producing, directing, rapping, singing, songwriting, and even DJing, while gaining notable attention and awards for much of his works in all of these fields. With the many talents of Gambino, he continues to gain an enormous following and attention. With the insane amount of content and creations in the last 10 years, it will be an exciting thing to see what the next 10 holds and where his career takes him from there.